Visiting Hours, Part 2, page 162. And I have a special request. Henry traced his thumbs over the backs of her soft hands, looking into her chestnut brown eyes through the jagged coils of fence. It's my birthday next week. Could you bring all that stuff back by then? We're going to have a record concert outside that day, right after dinner. Our neighbor traded with the soldiers for a record player, but they only have a scratchy Grand Ole Opry recording. Something like that, and it's terrible. Soldiers are going to let us have a record concert outdoors when the weather clears up. They might even play the music for us through the loudspeakers, and they really like to have a visit on my birthday. We can sit right here and listen. What day is your birthday? He asked. Henry knew she was a few months older than he was, but had completely forgotten her birthday in the confusion of recent events. It's actually a week from tomorrow, but we're trying to have our first camp social, something to make this more of a camp and less of a prison. Next Saturday is the day they proposed for the record concert, so we'll just celebrate it then. Do you have the record we bought? Keiko shook her head, biting her lip. Where is it? Henry asked, remembering the empty streets of Nihomachi, the rows of boarded-up buildings. It's probably in the basement of the Panama Hotel. There's a lot of stuff there. It's where Dad put some of the things we couldn't fit in our suitcase. Things we didn't want to sell, either personal things. But it was being boarded up as we left. I'm sure it's shuttered now. You'll never get in, and if you do, I don't know if you could ever find it. There's so much. Henry thought about the old hotel. The last he recalled, the ground floor had been boarded up completely. The windows on the upper floors, the ones left uncovered, had all been broken by rocks thrown by kids below in the days since the evacuation. That's okay. I'll get what I can and bring it back next Saturday. Same time? Later. Next week we're back here in Area 4 helping with dinner, but I can meet you here afterward around 6. I'll probably see you at dinner if you come through my line. I'll be here. Where am I going to go? She looked around, eyeing the long stretch of barbed wire, then glanced down, seemingly noticing how muddy she was. Then she reached in her pocket. I have something for you. Henry reluctantly let go of her other hand as she pulled out a small bundle of dandelions tied with a ribbon. These grow between the floorboards of our house. Not really a floor, just wooden planks spread out on the dirt. My mom thought it was horrible to have all these weeds growing on our feet, but I like them. They're the only flowers that grow here. I picked them for you. She handed them to Henry through a gap beneath the wire. I'm sorry, Henry said. He suddenly felt foolish having come empty-handed. I didn't bring you anything. That's okay. It's enough that you came. I knew you would. Maybe it was my dream. Maybe I was just wishing it. But I knew you'd find me. Keiko looked at Henry, then took a deep breath. Does your family know you're here? She asked. They don't know, Henry confessed, ashamed of his mother's ambivalence and his father's joyfulness. I'm sorry I didn't tell them. I couldn't. They'd never let me come. I hate my father. That's okay, Henry. It doesn't matter. It's okay. I wouldn't want my son coming to a prison camp either. Henry turned his hands upward, feeling Keiko rest hers in his as they both felt the sharp metal of the wire sway between them, unyielding. Looking down, he noticed there was dried mud beneath her fingernails. She saw it too, curling her fingers in and looking up to meet Henry's eyes. The moment, for what it was, ended abruptly as Henry heard honking in the distance. It was Mrs. Beatty in her truck waving him back. Evidently she suspected where she might find him. I have to go. I'll be back next week, okay? Henry said. Keiko's nodded, swallowing her tears but finding a smile. I'll be here.